Jeff. Welcome back to my workshop. We're continuing work on the Waukegan station kit bash. In this episode, we're going to install the doors and the windows that had been removed from the walls. I've already got one of the doors in place on this wall. The second one I just press in place, and then I use my plastic solvent cement. This is a Fowler Super Expert. It's a strong cement that will eat through any paint that's in the way. It also has styrene suspended in it, so it also acts as a gap filling cement. So I really like that, and the needle applicator really lets me get it right where I want it. On this wall, we've got both doors to do, so we'll start by setting them in place, making sure they fit. If we have to do any filing or cleanup work to get them to fit properly, now's the time to do that. And with those in place, then we can flip the wall over, and there's a label on you can see mine's very well worn. I've been using it for a long time, and I replace them as I need to. The one thing you need to be cautious of on this is that because there's styrene in the cement, it will on occasion cause the needle applicator to clog up. If that happens, I just use a piece of .015 brass rod that I have, and that to stick down in there and clear it. I keep that on handy for making handrails on cars and so forth. So with the doors done on the long walls, now we've got to put the windows in. You can see here, whoops, I got it turned 90 degrees the wrong way. You can see the sill is off to the side. Now we figured out the problem. And once we have it set in place and knocked in, we can get it glued down. There it goes. And again, we'll use the same plastic solvent cement. Just run a small droplet along the edges of the window to hold it in place. Also on the ends, we need to install the half-round windows. This one was a little tricky to get in there, but there we go. And hold it in place while we glue it the same. As I said, this cement is strong enough that I don't have to worry about the paint on there, because when I was painting it, I accidentally painted the wrong side, the blue, and had to come back and redo the front side. And then we'll repeat the process on the other side wall. This one I've already got the end in place. And we'll get the half-round window in. And then we'll let these all dry up before we start installing window glazing. Once the cement has dried, we'll add the window glazing. By the way, I hope you're enjoying this video. If you have any suggestions, comments, things you think are a better way of doing stuff, please let me know in the comments below. So I did install the glazing. I've got it done on one long piece and on one end, and These were the two easy ones. I just cut the styrene to fit. I'm using a clear plastic styrene and canopy glue. I just use a toothpick as an applicator and just run the canopy glue around the edge of the window. This one's nice because it's got a little bit of a raised area there, so I know where to put the glue. And then just drop a piece of clear styrene that I've already cut, or clear acetate in this case, can be dropped right on there. The canopy glue, while it's white while it's wet, will dry clear. And then we'll do the same thing for the half round and the end windows. I decided to go with one piece of acetate to cover all of it because they're so close together. On the side walls, the end windows were done the same way. On here, again, these were cut oversized. I didn't need to be very precise with it. The bay window, on the other hand, was a different situation. I'm going to start with the center window. When I cut this, I was very careful to make sure I got the width exactly right so that it would sit flush on there and you wouldn't see the end of the acetate when you're looking in the window. And I laid out the acetate on my cutting mat so I knew exactly which position it went into in the bay window. And with that done, I'm able to do the side windows. Again, they were cut to match the width so that they'd fit in perfectly and not get in the way during final assembly of the building. And then did the same thing on the last window. If there's a type of project you'd like to see me build or work on, please let me know in the comments. I may not have be doing an exact replica of what you need, but I can certainly do something that resembles it based on the needs for my future layout and for the layout at the Arlington Heights Society of Model Engineers, where I am a member. Okay, so with the glazing installed and the glue dry, we can start assembling the walls. This uses a double tab method where it's got one tab on one wall and then two smaller tabs that go on either side of it on the other wall, and at the top it just has a guide piece to hold it in place. These were tough to get together, took some doing, but once I got it in, I was able to stand those two walls up and then apply the cement again. The same, as I said, that's my preferred brand of plastic solvent cement. And once that was in place I put the other wall in the same manner, and then the last end wall, which again turned out to be a little bit tricky. It was a tight squeeze, and part of that is probably the old glue from when it was previously assembled. Probably would have had a little bit easier time if I did a little bit more filing in there and sanding to clear out all of that. But the end result turned out well. Until I knocked it off the end piece. We'll get that in and then get the other side done. Fortunately, you do have a bit of working time with the solvent cement. It stays soft for a while, but once you get them together, it will grab and hold. It just takes a few seconds to get it to hold. But it'll still be soft, so you want to be careful with it at that point until it has fully cured. I like to do that let things glue joints cure overnight. And that's what I will be doing with this before we move on to the next step. If I can get this to cooperate. Building these does not always go as smoothly as it looks on video, as you can see. I'm not afraid to show you when things don't go well for me, because if you can't see what can go wrong, then you can't fix it. Bring in my 1, 2, 3 blocks here to help hold that square while the glue sets up in there. And there's the finished skeleton to the building. Still need to add the roof on the track side of the building, and we'll do that and start the roof